may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, guys, first off, I just want to give a massive thank you for everybody showing support on the channel lately. I mean, we are just skyrocketing towards 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for joining the flock. Really hope that y'all are going to enjoy the fantasy baseball videos yet to come. And what I also really hope is y'all going down to the comment section, and whenever I say something stupid, whenever I say something you don't agree with, I want to hear it. I want y'all to tell me why I am dumb. We need to be working together. I promise you, a lot of the people watching this video right now are probably smarter than I am and probably know more than I do. And whenever I say something, I need to hear your opinion. So please use that comment section to kind of help me out here. I'm trying to help y'all. Please come through and do the same with me. And before we get into the video, what we need to be doing is we need to be giving a massive shout out to Thrive Fantasy. Okay, guys, with Thrive Fantasy, what they are actually doing is they are giving away a free $1,000 on opening day for their fantasy baseball season to kick off. What you need to do to enter this contest for this free $1,000 is please go through the link in the description of the video or go through the link to the comment section, enter promo code FLOCK, and then you should be able to find the free $1,000 free roll contest. And also, of course, it helps the channel a ton. I promise you all that. So please, if you appreciate the videos or anything, that would help me out a ton. But anyway, let's get into it. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be talking about 3 shortstops that I'm going to be targeting in fantasy drafts, regardless of if they've already happened, regardless of if they are upcoming. They've already happened. Maybe you can make a trade, but let's cover them. And the first player we're going to talk about is someone that we've been talking about all offseason now. It's going to be Xander Bogert, who is the 8th shortstop off the board in high-stakes fantasy baseball leagues. Obviously, playing for Boston and going at the end of the 3rd, beginning of the 4th sometimes. And that's where I think we go, okay, the value is there. And this is why I don't want to say this for certain, but I kind of like drafting at the back half of drafts this year rather than at the very beginning, because yes, you're going to get that guaranteed stud at the very beginning of your draft in the 1st round. But at the back half, you could walk away with possibly double tapping a stud pitcher, Christian Yelich, at the same time with your first 2 picks. And then we've talked about before that I think some of these players that are going in the late 3rd, they're about equivalent of what's going in the late 2nd. So those teams that have that 1st, 2nd, 3rd overall pick that is then picking a Bryce Harper at the end of the 2nd, I don't see that big of a difference here with Xander Bogert, who you get at the late 3rd. He's only 28 years old, so he's going into his prime. And if you're unfamiliar with the channel, what we really like to do when we dive into these players is I like to look at 2019. That's going to be the main year because it's the most recent year that we have a very large sample to draw from. And I know a lot of people want to say you can't ignore 2020, and we're not going to. I'll bring up what happened in 2020, but 2019, obviously, completely regular season. Nothing extremely wacky there, where in 2020, I mean, a lot of these guys didn't even know if they were going to play. I mean, they didn't know if Major League Baseball was going to have their season. And then when they did, it was a very small sample to begin with. So don't want to focus in too much on what happened last year. Let's go back to 2019, where Xander Bogert had 614 at-bats, so an extremely large sample. And in this sample, he had a 308 batting average, a 383 on base percentage, and a 554 slugging. Now, I will say, no, Xander Bogert is not going to be racking up as many stolen bases as those elite guys in that category. But still, these are fantastic hitting numbers. And also, the Boston Red Sox aren't necessarily a lineup that I am extremely worried about avoiding. I'm fine drafting these Boston Red Sox players. It's not the Astros. It's not the Marlins. It's not the Pirates. So we'd love to see that sample in 2019. Then we go, okay, what happened in 2020? Let's just look at it briefly. And he only had 203 at-bats, so it's just say a third of the value of what we have from that large sample in 2019. But it's still right up there, pretty much identical numbers with a 300 batting average, a 364 on base percentage, and a 502 slugging. So you saw the power dip a little bit, but outside of that, everything pretty much remained the same. And like I said, it was a really weird season anyway, so I don't care that the power dipped too much. We are fine still going after Xander Bogert. And I will say, shortly, I know that this is the small sample, and this is something that doesn't really matter at all, but I just want to bring it up. That way we can begin to track it. So in 2021, so far in spring training, he's only had 25 at-bats, and in those 25 at-bats, it's been rough, but like I said, it's a very small sample, where his batting average is at 200, a 286 on base percentage, and a 440 slugging. But the takeaway in this is what we want to be looking at is we want to be looking at that 2019 season where he had over 600 at-bats. That's going to be a safe thing to project from. And I think Xander Bogaerts is someone that you can project to be close to the 540 mark in slugging, close to the 300 mark in batting average. He's a hitter with a very high floor. Don't really see what's going on here with Xander Bogaerts and why he is going so much later than other guys at the very beginning of this round that I really don't like. I mean, like a player like Kyle Tucker is going ahead of Xander Bogaerts right now. Okay, so now let's go over to the next shortstop off the board according to ADP. This is going to be Tim Anderson, who's pretty much consistently going in the middle of the 4th round. So maybe you're picking in the middle of the 3rd and you want to go with a Max Scherzer instead of a Xander Bogaerts, and you want to get your shortstop on the way back in the 4th. This is going to be your option here, where he's playing for the Chicago White Sox. Obviously, that's a lineup that you like. Only 27 years old to go along with this. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with Xander Bogaerts. Let's look at the past 3 years, but let's go in order of importance. And literally, guys, how I'm viewing this is I'm viewing it as 2019's up here and what we can draw from. 2020's down here. 2021 so low is off the screen, but I'm still going to talk about it regardless. But anyway, in 2019, he had close to 500 at-bats. And in these 500 at-bats, Tim Anderson was able to come away with a 335 batting average, a 357 on base percentage, and a 508 slugging. And not only did he come away with this, but at the same time, he had 17 stolen bases, something that we know you pretty much need from your shortstop if you want to be competitive in the category. Then we go over to 2020, and this is why I am pretty much all in on Tim Anderson, because he continues this trend. It's a small sample. Given that, though, he was able to come away with a 322 average, a 357 on base percentage, and close to a 530 slugging. So Tim Anderson here checking every single box that you would like to see going into his prime. 2021 so far in spring training. Actually, a little bit of a larger sample here, but a lot of people have been saying in the YouTube comments, Mason, don't even bring up spring training. A lot of these guys only work on one asset of their game. But here, I'm going to bring it up just so we can start to track it. In 2021, he's had close to 50 at-bats, a 286 average, a 314 on-base percentage, and a 429 slugging. But like I said, that's really not important at all. What's going to be important is to look at that 2019 season where he was superb in multiple categories and check the box in every single one. So Tim Anderson going to be someone that I am going to be aggressively targeting early on in drafts. So now let's go. We've talked about 2 early round targets. Let's go really late. Maybe someone that you're drafting as your backup shortstop. He has a little bit more positional flexibility as a middle infielder. It's going to be Jorge Polanco, who right now is the 23rd shortstop off the board. He's going at pick 234 overall, playing shortstop / middle infield for the Minnesota Twins at 27 years old going into his prime. Now, if we go through here, this is another thing. I don't understand why he is going so late. I guess maybe you could look at 2020 and see that it was a down year, but do people not understand how sample sizes work? I mean, you go to 2019 and over 600 at-bats. He had close to a 300 batting average, a 356 on base percentage, and a 485 slugging. So with these numbers, I just don't understand why he's going so late in drafts right now. Can someone please come in and let me know? Like, what am I missing here? Please go to the comment section. I'm probably missing something because I don't really understand this. I think that he should be going rounds earlier than he currently is. Jorge Polanco, I don't care if you're drafting him as your backup shortstop. He's someone that I would prioritize with this price. Okay, so thank you guys. We're going to call that the video. I will be possibly uploading 2 videos a day over the next few, so if you liked it, make sure you are dropping a like on the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment telling me what I got wrong in the video, as it really helps me going forward.